The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, Junkanoo was asked to exercise calm for the next 24 hours as the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture meets with the JCNP and other stakeholders to try and come to an agreement that would hopefully be pleasing to all involved, an agreement that would bring the Junkanoo groups to Bay Street. Tonight, a last-ditch effort to save the Boxing Day parade as Junkanoo leaders threatened not to show up on Bay Street this Boxing Day. So, what's driving this hard-nosed approach by the Junkanoo community, you may ask? Well, a matter that's gotten entirely out of hand, involving the Valley Boys and the split heard around the country. So, is there political interference as stated by the JCNP? We talk about it tonight as work, as we are told here on Beyond the Headlines, in all Junkanoo shacks across New Providence have reportedly stopped. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, Junkanooers and Junkanoo supporters on edge tonight, waiting for a final decision on whether or not the Boxing and New Year's Day parades will continue as planned. This as the JCNP has threatened to halt the parade following or the continued fallout of the Valley Boys and the government's position to allow one faction of the group to compete. Now, I want to say before we go to this report that Dion Miller was to have been, and a number of other leaders, my guest in this top segment of the show, but just before airtime, Miller was called into an emergency meeting at Youth, Sports and Culture again as they tried to come together to save the Boxing Day parade. Therefore, he could not join me in studio or via Zoom this evening, and so we continue. We have a lot to talk about. We can still get through it, can't we? So let's go. Laurencia Smith took to the streets to find out exactly how you are reacting to all of this. Many of you told her that politics and Junkanoo should never mix, with tensions rising over the involvement of political figures in the decision-making process. Here's the story, and then we come back and we talk about it.
Junkanoo is not political. That's the sentiment echoed by members of the public as concerns grow over the potential cancellation of the 2024 Junkanoo parades.
It's a sad day, not a new day. I feel like the government should just stay out. Junkanoo is not political. Over the years, they made it political, but I feel like they need to step back, stay out, and let the Junkanoos do Junkanoo and stay out and do their job in the House of Assembly.
This decision overruled in an earlier statement by the JCNP. The Way Forward group would be limited to the F group, reserved for the fun groups. The move sparked fury of communication throughout the day among the involved parties. An email reportedly written by the JCNP chair Dion Miller to the director of communication at the office of the Prime Minister was leaked. It claims that the parades would be halted due to political interference and allegations of nepotism, as the Way Forward group is led by Trevor Davis, the brother of Prime Minister Philip Davis. Another leaked email reported from Ramington Miller advising the JCNP chair to seek legal counsel before taking any action to cancel the parade.
Junkanoo has been political for a very long time now, and it needs to stop. It's a cultural event, and I think it's unfair to both sides of the Valley Boys, and because this has happened before, okay? We've had Junkanoo in the past, whereas you had persons who was disgruntled about whatever situation, and it was a split. And It were no names were formed, and it was no problem. So why is it a problem now?
By late afternoon, the Office of the Attorney General released a statement describing the dispute as a legal matter. It warns that allowing one group to participate while the issue remains before the court could expose the government to significant legal and financial risk. The statement also emphasized that the JCNP does not have the authority to postpone or cancel parades, as Junkanoo is a national event owned by the Bahamian people.
It kind of sounds a little biased, all right? And it sounds like as if they have two groups in one parade. So kind of a little unfair to the other groups. Well, definitely, I feel like it would divide us and definitely affect the outcome of the parade. The Bahamians don't know how to play nicely together in some instances. I think that would be a reason definitely to cause a major rift in the parade.
Opposition leader Michael Pintard added his voice to the debate. Pintard, who once served as the culture minister, suggests a creation of an independent Junkanoo commission, argued that Junkanoo is bigger than politics. Prime Minister Philip Davis appeared to have the final say on the matter. In a post on the platform X, Davis asserts that under no circumstance is the postponement or cancellation of Junkanoos justified, highlighting the immense talent and the artistry Bahamians poured into the cultural tradition. So will the parade take place, and will both groups be allowed to compete? Those questions remain unanswered. Late this afternoon, the JCNP postponed a planned press conference. Laurencia Smith, Eyewitness News.
Well, I tell you, this is like the election, you know, and people wondering and just vex on, you know how elections are in this nation, and we see that play out even in the U.S. elections, very divisive, etc. But a lot to get to. The Attorney General's office certainly this weekend all over this matter. In fact, appeared to be almost sort of strong-arming the JCNP in certain instances. Is that welcomed? Do you think that the JCNP that appears to have been very sort of about business in this matter for months now, do you think they welcome that versus youth, sports and culture and the JCNP making decisions as it relates to Junkanoo? Well, we're going to get to that. Once again, Dion Miller is right now in an emergency called meeting. He's not unable to join us this evening as was scheduled. I found this out just moments before we got here this evening. And so, of course, this evening we continue with some thoughts and continue the show. Ellington Ferguson, it's good to have you here. Good evening to you. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
It's a pleasure to be here. Good evening, Bahamas.
Listen, Ellington, there's a lot to get to. You see what's going on. I'll tell you this. On good authority, I got that Junkanoos are not taking what's happened or what's happening very likely at all.
No.
Many of the leading groups and certainly category B groups as well are upset about what they feel is sort of something where Junkanoo stripped away from them. They call it even political interference. I got on good authority that work has stopped in the shacks. We know that these are all critical times and moments leading to Bay Street on Boxing Day. So for work to have stopped, I imagine, of course, they've made great progress so far, but that just says a lot of where these people are and what they're determined to do if they don't get what they want.
Absolutely, Shanique. This is one of the most unfortunate things, again, to one of our main display of culture here in the country, and so much work has been placed all year long into getting these costumes ready, getting these groups ready, and practices and stuff after we've been out of commission for, I think it was about 2 years or a year. Had Junkanoo last year, have come this year now with all of this. It's got to be very disheartening to the Junkanoos who get in there and put their heart into it. I'm telling you, the kind of effort, the kind of energy that they put into preparing themselves for these parades, and now this. This whole fiasco has been unfortunate how it was handled. I don't think by the authorities or the parties that gives leadership to Junkanoo have dealt with it in the right way to bring some kind of amicable solution to it. And so it continues each day, it mushrooms into something else. Mm-hmm. And this is most unfortunate. I think we need to all get together, and hopefully with the meeting that they're having now, we can they're getting together and get this behind us. Let's get on with the business. Let these men and women in these shacks continue to complete their costumes and move on with this. This is very, very unfortunate.
It absolutely is, and how it got here, who knows? I mean, but obviously we know how it got here. It got here when Trevor Davis, who went and registered the Valley Boys, a member of the Valley Boys we're told for quite a number of years, decided that, you know what, hey, the group should be, I guess, modernized in terms of its registering, in terms of elections as the Constitution would dictate, and so many other things. Now, of course, Brian Adderley, who is the present chairman, is not moving and not flinching. And so there's where that standoff started. Do you think that Trevor was somehow overreaching and did something wrong here, that somehow it's not recognized by the JCNP, regardless of how many times they have tried to make application, etc., and the JCNP say, nope, you've not gone about it the right way, toe the line?
Shanique, and I had conversations with Trevor Davis and some of the members of the Valley Boys. And it has not just started this year. This started before this year, last year, the year before. The Valley Boys have had concerns about their leadership. They've had concerns about the direction that the group was heading in. And members of the Valley Boys asked Trevor Davis, who was obviously one of the leading persons in the group organization, to try and see if he could get Mr. Adley and the rest of those to cause there to be election. Let's have some kind of a meeting so we could understand what's happening in the group, because a lot of people that, as far as they're concerned, they don't know what's going on. All they know, they go there, they pace and stuff like that. They don't know how the funds are being handled. They don't know anything about the business of the organization. We've started these organizations many years ago, and we have not developed, we've not moved forward, and that's why Junkanoo has, for the most part, remained local. It's not really hit the world like I know that it has the potential to do. And so these members invited Mr. Davis, and so he tried to get the present leader, Mr. Adley, and those to let's organize, let's properly organize, let's get statement, let's have election, let's register the name of the group. The reply to him was, we don't need to register no name. Ain't nobody crazy enough to take the name. And we know that legally, if somebody registered something, it becomes their own. So he registered it to secure the Valley Boys name, okay? And so I can't see how it get outside of that to the JCNP, to the government, now in the courts. It just should have never gotten there. I think in the line of transparency, it would have been good if the whole group would have been able to come together, and whoever comes out to be leader, let's have a democratic process. This is the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. That's the way we do things here in the Bahamas.
Now, Trevor Davis is the brother of the Prime Minister, Philip Davis. Do you think there's been political interference? Or how does it look? What are the optics saying?
Based on, I followed the whole scenario, Shanique. It's unfortunate. And I almost don't want to use that word. I don't want to say it's unfortunate that he's a brother of the Prime Minister, but it's unfortunate that people seek to use that. So it says then that anytime you become in government, your family must not use anything. They must not be involved in anything. They can't use public services, because if they use it, you can say it's because of that's unfortunate. We've had a number of our prime ministers, Perry Christie, the Honorable Perry Christie, former prime minister, also former prime minister Hubert Minnis, have been involved in Junkanoo. What people try to use all kinds of things to say, well, this one win because of that. I think that is dumbing down the conversation, not really addressing and dealing with the issues. Yes, Trevor Davis is the Prime Minister brother. I think the Prime Minister have done very well in staying away from this and allowing the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture to handle this the best way that he sees fit. There were some initial things that was done I don't think should have been done the way they've done it, but I think they're coming around now, and I like the intervention that has happened, and hopefully we can allow these groups to get to Bay Street. We can do what needs to be done and get this resolved. But I don't think Prime Minister Davis had anything to do with it. I don't think that is no political interference.
Should the Attorney General's office have stepped in the way it did? First, it sent out an initial release this weekend saying that, listen, allow the two to participate just without the banner and the name Valley Boys. Come as A, come as B. Or disallow the two and so that the parade goes on without them. Do you think that, and I don't think that sat well either with the JCNP, but do you think that the Attorney General's office had a role or has a role in this sort of row?
I think, Shanique, I listened to the Attorney General's statement. I think that the thing is that what we got to understand here, they looked at it, and based on what the Attorney General's office have concluded, that this thing could possibly, at some point, leads to a lawsuit somewhere. And so whatever happened, even with the JCNP, ultimately it falls on the government, okay? And so the government must then step in and look to see how they can possibly avoid, should this come to any possible lawsuit. That is the job of the Attorney General, to make sure that the government is not caught up in any frivolous lawsuit. And I think it is well. I don't think the JCNP should take that, should be slighted by that. They should understand the fact that the government is covering both the JCNP and the government in trying to ensure that they don't end up with a lawsuit.
Yes, listen, it's a lot happening. We hope perhaps to update you tomorrow. By the way, they plan on that news conference that was to have happened this evening at 6. That's now been rescheduled for tomorrow at 6. So we all await the decision. Will there be a Boxing Day parade? Or even if there is, will the Junkanoo group show up? Well, it all depends on what comes out of that meeting that is now in progress, called moments ago, where Dion Miller and a number of other JCNP leaders, Junkanoo leaders, and all other stakeholders are locked in a room and are obviously putting forward their case. We are going to continue to follow that here on Beyond the Headlines, but don't go anywhere. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to shift gears and look at some other issues making news around the nation today. This is Beyond the Headlines. We're back right after this.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
You work hard to provide for and protect the ones you love. However, life can present unexpected challenges. Who you call in times of need matters. Insurance Management is a Bahamian-owned company that has been serving our community for over 40 years, offering a wide range of coverage for all of your personal, professional, and commercial needs. When life happens, rest easy knowing that our skilled and experienced agents are there for you in your time of need, so that you can get back to what matters most. Insurance Management. Nobody does it better.
For carpets, bed sheets, and bath mats, there's a place I know. For shower curtains, comforters, and window curtains, only one place to go. Fixing your home or automotive, that's no fuss. We put a smile on your face. Come and shop with us for all you need and more. Shop at AID for Christmas.
Get ready to win Lucky Bucks. Wherever you see this taxi, flag it down.
The boy hard, beating so hard, but I will be hard. What here? I'm looking for my first contestant to ride in the Lucky Taxi. You walk in the taxi, you got to do the Lucky Walk, Oh, thanks. Man, thank you, sir. 85 times 2 is how much, brother? You only win $170, brother.
I never expected to win as much as I win.
Bang along. Very excited when the gentleman picked me to ride inside the taxi.
So if I had to choose a game that would stay, it would be Island Lock Taxi.
You could be next on the Island Lock Lucky Taxi.
Bigger at Island Luck, so don't let your daily inspirations go to waste. Win now with our selection of lottery games. Play now at islandluck.com or at any of our locations. What's your inspiration?
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by EV Motors. Drive the future with brand new 2024 electric vehicles. EV Motors, powering your journey.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Well, the Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper is breaking his silence tonight on that United States Supreme Court indictment implicating 11 Bahamian men, including 2 senior officers from the armed forces. The indictment also accuses a high-ranking politician, yet to be named, of alleged bribery. Linton Ritchie Jr. has the story, and then we'll talk about it.
Conflate these issues, what might be in the public domain, versus who has responsible for internal airport security at LPIA.
A United States Supreme Court indictment placing the gateway of our country under a microscope as it's alleged that an international drug ring was facilitated on the ground at Lynden Pinland International Airport dated back to 2021. With former officer in charge of the airport, Chief Superintendent Elvis Curtis, at the center of the allegations, Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper, who has responsibility for aviation, emphasized that persons should not make the mistake of classifying the duties of the airport authority in the same boat as the Royal Bahamas Police Force.
The police, of course, has a responsibility that is separate and apart from the aviation infrastructure.
After his analysis of that 19-page indictment, Cooper says, from his view, not everything is as it's written.
Some errors, I believe, in the document that I would have seen.
As for the executives and their stance,
naturally concerned with taking steps to address the issues that we've been made aware of.
But what if there were cracks to allow any type of illegal operation?
We will learn from those lessons, the information that's provided to us, and if necessary, we will make corrective steps.
For now, officials say they are simply awaiting as international courts are set to bring the men to justice.
I anticipate that moving forward, that all of this will unfold in time.
Now, Janea, both senior armed force officers, Chief Superintendent Elvis Curtis.
So what do you all thought about that report? Because you saw me looking puzzled just now. I mean, what did he say? And should he be saying any of the things that he didn't even say? Except that all is not as is in the report or errors, or etc. Ellington, I just, of course, Bahamians want to know. They want to know more importantly. We saw the 2 officers a minute ago. Who's the politician? If indeed there is one. The U.S. is doing a disservice in that regard. Let us know. Like bring out the entire, roll it all out. However, though, what I don't know. What is the posture? What should our authorities and elected officials sort of, what posture should they have adopted during this time?
I think whatever is known, whatever has been communicated to the Bahamian officials, they should come to the Bahamian people and let us know what has been revealed to them by the U.S. and its organizations. However, I think sometimes we try to in order to safeguard or in order to kind of smooth things over or calm things down, I think sometimes we say too much and we try to get too involved in it. I heard the DPMs begin to say, well, he saw some mistakes and he saw He don't nobody from the airport authority. I think he's
Nobody. I don't think there was ever a suggestion
there was
that the
no
airport authority
suggestion,
was
and,
involved.
I don't think we have seen the full detail of whatever the U.S. indictment documents has. You know, they're talking to several persons that they has in custody, and we don't know what all those persons would reveal. So I don't think we should be saying what is, what isn't at this point, unless you would have seen the full gamut of what their document entails, which right now they're still investigating. They're still questioning the persons that they have in custody, trying to get some more information, because it's the persons that they have in custody that actually mention name of some other high-ranking government officials. I think we should just sit back, continue to govern this country, and allow whatever is revealed, let it come forward. Wait till it come forward, not try to preempt anything or everybody trying to look smart and intelligent. Just let it happen. Let's govern this country. Let's try to get a grip on what's happening in this country, and let's put some things and some measure in place to see how we can best. We will never be able to cause there to be no corruption, but to make sure do what we see, any loopholes that we find in these areas, as we know it was going through the airport, seek how we can close those loopholes and wherever else in the country those things was happening.
I absolutely agree. As the two countries' two armed forces grapple with corruption and the controversy in light of the United States indictment that accused a police officer and a defense force officer of being corrupt, the Defense Forces chief, that's right, the Commodore, is speaking out tonight as he defends his organization and says that he's been a part of the organization for over 3 decades and that there is no culture of corruption. We get the story from Jose Etienne.
I've been in the organization, John B makes me 38 years. And I can safely say there's no systemic, no known corruption going on in the organization.
Defense Force Commodore Dr. Raymond King dismissing concerns that there is corruption deep-rooted in the law enforcement agency.
Even if settlements of it persist in small pockets of the organization, it is nothing that is pervasive, nothing that is systemic, because of the internal controls we have from our procurement processes, for the way we handle and we take care of information and intelligence, all right, and the internal auditing that is done.
King is speaking out days after Chief Petty Officer Darren Roker, who was fired from the force on Monday, was indicted by United States prosecutors. But not just that. A senior police officer was indicted alongside Roker, prompting outgoing Police Commissioner Clayton Fernandez to address what he called a culture of corruption in the police force.
We were all caught off guard by it. We were shocked and very disappointed to learn of any allegations being laid against any one of our members, in particular to provide operational information to the enemy.
The indictment revealed that Roker facilitated maritime drug trafficking by, quote, using his official position to obtain sensitive information about law enforcement operations by the United States Coast Guard and OPBAD and alert drug traffickers in exchange for bribe payments, end quote.
I don't know how it is that that individual could have said that they could have provided the information what they said, but the information regarding our regional partners, it's only one person who gets access to that information. On our situational reports, it's only a small pool of 5 of us senior officers who receive that information.
Those comments from King now putting existing protocols and the small pool of officers he mentioned under scrutiny.
It just makes good prudent sense that if an allegation is laid, for one to go and relook at our mechanisms, relook at our internal controls, to see if there has been some collusion between the small party of persons who have access to this data and anyone else.
King revealing that he was blindsided by the allegations come days after Fernandez also noted the same. But King maintains that these alleged acts of betrayal are not usual.
Some 2 decades ago with the Colombian vessel Lorquin, where the crew was alleged to have broken bulk and removed some of the drugs following an arrest, and those persons were eventually disposed.
He adds that the emphasis will fall on Marines who look to defile the Defense Force.
We have put in considerable work. We've expended enormous resources, and we've taken significant pride in protecting our borders like we've done for the past 5 years against migration, illegal fishing, against arms smuggling, drug smuggling.
So that term, culture of corruption, has come up a lot. It happened a couple weeks ago when the IDB, in its study, said that the Bahamas is a culture of corruption. And what they sort of gave as examples, or one of them, is the fact that, we is a tip culture. Like, and I mean tip like you go to the restaurant and you tip. I'm talking tip, get this done for me. Tip, get this done quickly, get me through. This is what the IDB said, right? So what is a culture of corruption? Well, I have it right here. The attitudes, beliefs, and practices so pervasive as to make much of the population tolerant of corruption in public and private life, and indifferent to anti-corruption reform through lack of confidence in the possibility of positive change. So, Ellington, is the Bahamas, or is there a culture of corruption that is pervasive in the Bahamas?
Shanique, I will only accept that if we're going to go ahead and conclude that there's a culture of corruption the world over. That's the only way I would accept that. Let's put things into perspective here. This is what 2 police officers, a Defense Force officers, and some other men that are caught up in the drug trade that has been going on for eons. These men have not initiated. These things are not initiated in the Bahamas. We are a victim of our geographical location. Where is the supplier? Down south. That's where the supplies are.
Where's the demand?
Where's the appetite and the demand? Just north of us. We're squeezed in the middle. You look in today's daily, one of today's daily in the international news, you see where the U.S. are exonerating the records of a number of probably hundreds, even thousands of Bahamian in South Florida who they had was convicted of drugs. Why? Because they said that the drugs was manufactured in Florida by the DEA. They manufactured the drugs to entangle and entrap people. Like, come on, man. Maybe if you didn't do that, those people would have never had access to the drugs. And so we got to kind of put things in perspective and not seek to be our own our enemy in destabilizing our own nation. We cannot be the ones to say we are like grasshopper in their sights. No, that's not what we need. We have our issues. We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of cleaning up to do. We have to clean up our police force. You heard Raymond King talk about, no, he don't accept it as being a system of corruption. Okay, he got some things to do, and he speak to the measures that he has in place, and to look at it again, to scrutinize it, see where they can tighten up, and put certain things in place. And so, no, I would not accept that, Shanique. Absolutely not. Not on my Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We have some wonderful Bahamian people that love this country. We have some Bahamian people that hate corruption. We have some righteous people, some people of integrity and good character that makes up the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. I will not accept that.
I think many Bahamians are applauding you tonight, including our armed forces, because you remember Bahamians are paying attention since last week to a video that's gone viral of the culture of corruption in law enforcement in the United States.
Absolutely.
Not excusing, and they are dealing arms and all the rest of it, everything that minutely, like these, in smaller numbers, some officers are guilty of doing, and any other kind of scandals we've had recently. Well, the report came out, I think it was done by CBS or ABC, or perhaps both, that there is a culture of corruption among law enforcement nationwide in the United States.
Absolutely, Shanique. The kind of money that drug dealers looking for to make, the Bahamas can't give them that. Yes, some of the drugs end up on our streets and destroy some of our people. That is unfortunate. But this is not the market that they are destined for. And so, yes, let's continue, Prime Minister Davis and opposition and everybody, let's continue to seek to make this Bahamas a better place, create laws and legislation that will govern us accordingly. But no, let's do that to ourselves.
I agree. Well, listen, this question for you as we go to the break: should there be a mental health registry Yeah, you heard me right. Mental health. This after you remember the 2 homicides involving that 12-year-old and then 72-year-old, where it was deemed that both of the suspects are mentally challenged. We'll talk about that and hear more when we come back right here on Beyond the Headlines after this break.
K. Michelle.
What up, y'all? It's your girl K. Michelle. December the 28th, I'm going to be in the Bahamas. I'm coming to sing some songs. Yes, Bahamas, K. Michelle. We gonna light some candles tonight. Very special.
Life Jennings.
Yo, what's up? Nassau, Bahamas. Life Jennings is performing December 28th.
And Jay Holiday.
Yo, what's good, man? It's me, your boy Jay Holiday. I'm going to be performing live on Saturday, December 28th.
At the Nassau Cruise Port. Early bird tickets are now available online. Powered by 103.5 The Beat. Nightlife Entertainment. Alpha Sound Promotions. Free Bands Entertainment. 242 Party and Playhouse.
See y'all. Bahamas, December 28th.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2. See the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3. Enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Well, the country's still obviously grappling with those 2 homicides involving a 12-year-old and a little bit later a 72-year-old. And it brought to light and made many people question, particularly as information was revealed that the suspects perhaps had mental health issues or have mental health issues. It is said that the suspected killer in the case of 12-year-old Adrielle Moxie was a former patient at the Sandilands Rehabilitation Center and is currently exhibiting signs of mental illness. Dr. Arbonette Roll, Managing Director of the Public Hospitals Authority, talked about the protocols in place for those discharged from the rehabilitative facility. Roll explained how health officials monitor those patients that are no longer under 24-hour watch.
the patient is discharged, they go home with what we call discharge summary, and the discharge summary really lays over their existing conditions with the treatment they had and more than likely the plan of care. That's important because even though we have patients here, not all patients who leave here are staying within the country. So that process is done. They're also given an appointment. So the appointment could also be within our system through our CCAC, or it could be external. Once that's done, then they have a date and time for that follow-up care. One of the most important things Sandilands has commenced also, though, is we have a discharge planning nurse. And so that nurse tends to follow up with these patients within 48 to 72 hours, just to make sure that they're coping and things are going well, also to remind them about the date and time of their referral process. So that's what happens. Once those patients are seen in the clinic, then they are assessed and treated as necessary. If they have medications that need to be filled, that happens. If they have new medications, etc. And there's a follow-up process. The availability of our telephone numbers are there. Should there be a crisis, either one that they could call or family members or other persons can call to deal with them.
Well, there you have it. So that's the process. Now, and because we discussed this last week, what the intent of the question was is because it's being revealed that the suspects in those homicides were suffering mental illness, or it's been revealed, or they're exhibiting mental challenges. How are they identified? Because oftentimes they're wandering about the street and then they commit heinous crimes. And what are you to do? Just excuse it away as someone who is mentally challenged? That really is an issue that Bahamians, we've got to obviously amend our laws to properly address, Ellington, because families certainly don't want to hear so-and-so been to Sandilands, and so therefore, how do you then handle that? How do you even process that?
It's a challenge that we face as a country, and we've got to really look at this. It's unfortunate that sometimes it takes the tragedy, as in the loss of lives of those two ladies, the young one and the old one, to bring these things to the fore. I think I see a number of these people walking the streets, and sometimes when they release, they're okay, and even those that are still in the homes with some family members, initially when they're released, they're okay, and they're on medication, and some of them just, for some reason or another, after a few weeks or a month, they discontinue their medication or not taking it on time, and so they have a lapse and they end right back acting out either in the homes or in the streets. And so it's a challenge that we got to look at from the government, from the social order perspective, and try to see how we address that, how we handle that, because these people are roaming the street, and they are adults, they are free to roam, they don't have, until there's not a crime, until it happens. And so it's a challenge faced with us. How do we deal with these people? Can we just allow them to roam, and then when something happens, say, oh, well, they're mentally ill? We can't, no, I don't think that's the route to go.
And then should there be sort of notices in a community? Again, it calls for the question I put forth, should there be a mental health registry? And for people who don't exhibit perhaps full recovery is what I'm talking about, because anybody can kind of be on a scale and do whatever. I'm not talking about that person who returns and is undergoing treatment and following the treatment. Right. I am talking about the person who's out there wandering about and quite listless and can end up getting into mischief.
I don't know how well that will help, even if you have a registry, how much people will pay attention to that, because we see these people on the streets every day, and you see them roaming up the streets. Sometimes you think nothing of them. I've seen some of them, I mean these ones with no home, who is not going to no home. And when I say no home, more than likely they don't have no home because of their mind state a lot of times. And I see them sometimes do some crazy stuff. And so they're moving about doing little minor crazy stuff in the midst of us almost every day.
And we just ignore them.
And we just ignore it until it becomes to something similar to what we're experiencing now. So would a registry help? I'm not sure. But again, the professionals can speak to that and say better than I can. But we have to look into it, and whatever necessary measures we can take as a country to both take care of these people, kind of look out for themselves, because a lot of them, sometimes they go and they get themselves in the problem by messing with people's stuff, doing mischief, sometimes just removing people's stuff and all that type of stuff. And I've seen them get in trouble where people beat them mercilessly. And I've seen that happen also.
Yeah.
So both protect them from themselves and protect the public from
the public as well. Absolutely. Because after all, these are, for all intents and purposes, grown, healthy men.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
just roaming about and must be made accountable for their actions. But so how do you do that? That's a tall question.
We've got to protect them. Let me put it, for now, we have to protect them from themselves. They are a danger not only to the public but to themselves. And so we must seek, our social service has got to begin to look into this. This is something that Minister LaRota and his team got to look into. How do we change how we handle and how we deal with these people going forward, rather than having them roam the street. I don't think, it doesn't even look good, Shanique, to have them roam the street. I think that there should be something where we protect them from themselves and protect the public from them.
Good point. Good point. Well, Ellington, I thank you very much for hanging out with me this evening. Of course, I had to quickly bring this show, do like this quickly and make this show happen after everything that was planned, and I mean coordinated nicely, did not pan out. So I thank you very, very much. Obviously, this Junkanoo thing, it's now what? Yeah, it's like it's after tomorrow. It'll be how many days until Boxing Day?
Oof. What, less than 15?
About 10 days.
Yeah,
roughly, sort of ish, perhaps. I don't know if my math is mathing. I don't know. It isn't. Actually, it isn't. No, it isn't. About 15-ish. Yeah. 15 days. 15 days until the Boxing Day Junkanoo parade, and I'll tell you what happens tonight is extremely important in that meeting that's now underway, because it'll determine what the Junkanoo community decides and obviously what they announce tomorrow.
I have confidence, Shanique, that all parties is going to come together with an amicable decision, and we're going to have Junkanoo. I have that confidence in all of them. The minister, the JCNP, and the rest of the
two Valley boys.
Yes, we're going to have a wonderful Junkanoo this year. Watch. I have confidence in them.
Yeah, well, we all do. I thank you once again. Thank you for hanging out with me and absolutely just fitting in so nicely. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in this evening. We certainly enjoyed having you along and look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. Tune in tomorrow now. We got a lot of stuff going on, you know. It's the holiday season. I know people are beginning to be in the celebration mode, but listen, we are here. We're here for you. Let's make this happen at 8 o'clock each evening. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It's good to have you along, and for the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening. See you tomorrow.